Hello, everyone. This is Rebel here on the Man United Agenda, and I have a short takeover update. So please do join me for this. This is the Man United Agenda. Reports have been circulating today that Manchester United owners, the Glazers, could seek to use the banking crisis that's underway as an excuse to remain at Old Trafford. We'll get into those details after this intro. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this Monday special edition of the Man United Agenda. We have some breaking news in the last hour, straight out of some of the news reports. The Guardian are stating that the Glazers may use the banking crisis as an excuse to remain as owners at Old Trafford, with at least one bidder thinking that if the owners' demands are not met, that they will not sell Manchester United. The bidders for Manchester United hope to receive response to their latest offers this week amid fears from at least one potential buyer that the Glazers would ultimately cite the banking crisis as a reason not to sell the club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Britain's richest man, and the Qatari banker Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani have said that they want to buy out the Glazers, while Elliott, the US hedge fund, is targeting a minority stake. There have been reports over multiple interested parties that there's some skepticism as to whether or not the Glazers will sell. All bidders lodged offers by 24th of March and are waiting response from the Rain Group, those that are handling the process for the Glazers. With cost of borrowing rising after any offer involving debt is become more expensive, and this makes Radcliffe more conservative about the predicament that the club is in. So the reports are that the Glazer family are looking to remain at Manchester United, and that the banking crisis is now an excuse to remove themselves from the sale process. What I want to know is, what are your thoughts on these latest developments? It is stated that the Glazer family were reluctant to sell, i.e. Joel and Avram Glazer in the main, and now it looks like the excuse that they have been so much looking for may have been fallen into their laps, because the cost of borrowing is rising and it could push Manchester United to a price point that the bidders will not be comfortable with. So where does that leave us as a fan base? Because Manchester United Football Club is in a rather dire state of affairs when it comes to things financially. And Tyrone, you're very welcome. He's saying, afternoon, the Glazers wouldn't dare stay. Altani is a serious bidder. Radcliffe hasn't got a chance. I do hope that he does put forward enough cash to convince the Glazers to leave. But it's looking like there is some expression of doubt amongst some of the main media outlets that the Glazer family are actually going to go through with the sale process. And that these excuses now that are coming into play are playing into their hands. The bids at this stage must be in excess of £5 billion, and it still hasn't been enough to convince them. So it is clear that the motive that the Glazer family are in is how to extract the maximum amount of money possible. And if that means that they need to hold on to the club for another year or two and drive us further into financial misfortune, that probably isn't beyond the realms of possibility for these people. You must think this family has no interest in Manchester United Football Club. They're interested in the money that it generates for their pockets. They are looking to leave and have their debt, their purchase debt, loaded onto the new owner. They are absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, businessmen that are looking to extrapolate the maximum. And now the Guardian is saying that there's a chance that they could use the banking crisis as their get out of jail free card to say, listen, Manchester United fans, we did try to sell. We didn't get what we wanted. We needed maximum amount of dollars in our pocket, and now we're going to stay. Black Bolt, how are you doing, buddy? They have no morals. That is quite correct. If they had any sort of a moral compass at all, I'd imagine they'd have accepted a bid at this point. It is rumoured that Sheikh Jazim's bid is somewhere in the region of £6 billion. If that is true, and they are dawdling over whether or not to accept it, that's $1 billion. Seen fit to accept that money. Jeff, how are you doing, buddy? It's even more depressing than yesterday's results. 100 bricks. And it is one of those low points in our season, but we will bounce back. Mustafa, how are you doing, buddy? We need to bounce back Wednesday at home to Brentford. That's right, we're at home to Brentford Wednesday, and then immediately we will be playing Everton on Saturday. So the games will not stop coming. They are as relentless as the Glazers trying to get top dollar for Manchester United. Andrew Williams, I agree. It was never clear-cut they would sell. That is correct. They do seem to try and push United fan base to its limits in terms of what we can live with. Tyrone, if they choose not to sell, there'll be violent protests at the ground. That is the thing. What would that mean for any Manchester United fixture going forward? Because will they be under threat from the fan base should the Glazers attempt to remain at Old Trafford? What does that mean then for the league? And from their standpoint, what sort of sanctions would come on the club going forward? Edgar, it's time to go to war. Why not? We're not winning with them. Well, it comes down to the brass tacks of when we look at Manchester United, we knew we'd lost Danny van de Beek before the January transfer window. We lost Eriksson early doors in that January transfer window. Now, while Sabitzer was a fine addition and provided support to that midfield role, it was clear that that wasn't enough. So it leaves us in a position now where we are very thin in the ground. And also, we had one goal scorer in chief, Marcus Rashford. He was the one that was bagging us all our goals. It was never going to be sustainable that your goals can come from one source. But the Glazer family didn't see fit to make sure that we had another goal-scoring machine in play. AW with the American football reference. Afternoon, Mr. Bassett, how are you doing? Tyrone, enough is enough. It's time to start getting games cancelled. Andrew, the original announcement came at a point where they were cash starved and were about to hit a transfer window. They talked sale, but not acted like they were going anywhere. But you bet, Jeff. Bengals fan. And Jeff is saying, big up Matthew Bassett. Love the comment on the football waffle. So I'm just going to sum up this because this is a short live ahead of later on. We will be talking about our top four chances live at 8:30 here on the Man United agenda. But the Guardian have reported today that the Glazer family are seeking to use the banking crisis as a potential excuse not to sell Manchester United Football Club. They are trying to extrapolate top dollar from the bidders, and at this point, one bidder at least has stated that they are concerned whether or not there is a true engagement in the process of selling Manchester United coming from the American side. We get a few more comments there before we wrap up. McKay, can't we just get an American to go crazy? And then Tyrone Williams, he's saying the Glazers could be bluffing, another tactic to drive up the price. Holding on to clubs makes no sense. The press could be wrong about this. Don't be surprised if Altini's bid is accepted. Nothing would be surprising in this process at this stage because it has been a saga. We had the Frankie de Jong saga way back in the summer. Now we have the ownership saga. And it has been dragging on since I think roughly the first week of December was when the first mutterings of Manchester United potentially being up for sale came to light. Black Bolt, the saddest, they sold the club with $1 billion in debt. This is unacceptable. $1 billion in debt, another billion taken out over the course of the ownership of the Glazer family. All in all, Manchester United is in a position where it is probably £2 billion lighter than where it should be if we had reliable owners in place. Additionally speaking, there was an article today in The Athletic speaking to what the transfer window would look like if the Glazer family remained. Our transfers are currently funded by a rotating credit facility, some American institutions. We currently owe 200 and odd million euros to that carousel of funding. And if they are seeking to pay it off, they reckon that the transfer budget would be somewhere in the region of 90 million euros. So what does that mean for Manchester United Football Club in its bidding process? If you're to take the example of these stories of us being linked with Harry Kane, that goes straight out the window because Manchester United would not have £100 million to spend on Harry Kane when our transfer budget is much, much less. Matt is talking about McTominay. Ola Cunley is saying nothing to do with banking crisis. Glazers did this process to get a valuation of the club to borrow more money. That could be the case, Ola Cunley, but I'd imagine the wrath of a Man United fans scorned would be absolutely frightening. Mick, how are you doing, buddy? Media spin, you reckon? Could well be, but I suppose it gives us something to wrap our jaws around as well at the same time, doesn't it? Emma, they need to put up their own money if they want to stay, or more like give the money back to the club. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but that would make them competent owners. And we have seen no evidence since their father took over Manchester United Football Club that these gentlemen could ever be competent owners. 17 of you in the chat, please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. I do want to remind you that we do have Man United Agenda merch now. We have a wide variety of mugs available, and I'm just going to get this up on screen for you. If you want to get your own Man United Agenda mug, you can go to the website address on there, and we do now have delivery to the United States of America, Ireland, Germany, and a few other countries outside of the UK. So if you do like to get your own Man United Agenda mug, please do go to the website there on screen, and they will look after you. And let's have a quick look at a few more comments. Matthew's talking to Jeff. Jeff saying we would be well and truly screwed if they stay. There will be no transfer window. Rashford will leave, and Eric Ten Hag may as well, as he will not sign an extension that doesn't have an out clause. Tyrone Williams, if they don't sell, I'll stop supporting the club for years. Can't deal with any more years with them as owners. I've had enough. I think, Tyrone, your sentiment there would be the sentiment of a large majority of Man United fans. Another season of their tenure as owners would just be completely unpalatable for any self-respecting United fan after the years of torture that we've undergone with them at the helm. That is correct, Jeff. You can now get your Bruno Fernandes mugs and your Butcher mug. And thank you for supporting Team Rebel. We do have Team Rebel versus Team on Monday in the mug categories. Any Butcher Martinez mug purchases do support Team Rebel. Any Harry Maguire mug purchases go to Team on Monday, and we will have a look and see who had the most sales come the end of the season. But that's it from me. I just wanted to give you a short update on Matters Takeover. Do continue to give your thoughts on the Glazers potentially staying at Manchester United Football Club. This will be a very important week in the history of our club. It is thought, one more time, that the Glazers will use a banking crisis as an excuse to say, is it media spin or is there something to it? Please do let us know. And Matthew, we will be covering that actually in tonight's show at 8:30. We'll be talking about Matter's top four and amongst other things. So please do join us again this evening. And for now, this is me signing out. Have a good afternoon, all.